What's good? How you Boston Squad? This your girl Kaylee, and I'm back with another BC Boss Chic recap and review. I had to redo this due to some copyright issues, so let's get right into it. Bad Brunch Behavior episode 4 opened up with Tambra. Tambra is meeting with Miss Ramona, her mentor and friend. She's wanting to get some advice on career and personal work-life balance because she's thinking of taking her career to the next step. In order for her to get into the national position that she's wanting to get into, it may be time to leave her comfort zone in Jackson. So that's what Miss Ramona had to say. They also went ahead and went over the children and family issue that her parents keep asking about. So she wanted to get Miss Ramona's take on, how is it to be a career woman without children, and seeing how she felt about it, since Miss Ramona does not have any children either. So she gave her testimony, and sometimes she does have, the regretful moments, so that for Tambra, it made her kind of think. She started to think a little bit more about her personal life. So the scene went over to her meeting up with her ex that her mom and dad seem to stay in contact with. So they're on a date, and she wanted to ask him what was the reason that he thought that they may have ended. They both agreed that romance being put on the back burner was a part of the issue, even though they ended on a good note. He mentioned that her as a business person was different from her as, his girlfriend. So Tambra and Tambra Cherie are two different people in his opinion. He saw the bigger vision of her and her career goal, and he did not want to stand in the way of that. So that is one thing that kept them from moving forward. So he asked, is it a possibility now, since they're in different places, is it a possibility for a second date? And she said yes. Tambra, are we rekindling, sis? Are we? Now the scene shot over to Letitia. Letitia is meeting with the councilman to keep their stamps, the appraiser, and the Jackson contractor. They're on Fair Street trying to take a look at the building that she's wanting to buy for her venue and resource center. Oh, Miss Letitia got some news. She got some news that the building is actually not for sale. Not for sale. They gave her the option of leasing. They discussed leasing. The building holds historic value on Fair Street, so the community is wanting to keep it more historically lined. But councilman did say that maybe in a couple years they can discuss and revisit the option to buy. Now the contractor and appraiser wanted to explain that for the renovations and upkeep and maintenance and things that she's wanting to do with the building, the total is going to be close to $2 million. So that's one thing. Later in the episode, she met with Antoinette. They met at the Jackson Civil Rights Museum, where they walked down historical lane. So they discussed, the issue of being racially targeted, and how all we ever did was be black, and we seem to get the short end of the stick. We seem to get the brunt of all of the aggression simply because of who we are and what we look like, the color of our skin. So they were feeling all of the feels of this Civil Rights Museum. They got a chance to sit down and discuss a few things. They may be in two different places career-wise. Antoinette said that she may not like Letitia's brunches, but they both have a common goal, which is to give back to the community and uplift the community to greater standards. So Letitia gave her invite to her second brunch because she wanted to expand on the community developments that she's wanting to make. So Antoinette is all for that. in sisterhood. So they found a common ground. So the scene shot over to Marie. Marie met up with her son Jerez, and they visited their therapist and counselor, Dr. Chandler. So Marie played back the recording that she made of Jerez's temper tantrum. Dr. Chandler wanted to get Jerez's take on, what was going on. And Jerez, he stated that, he was committing to going to school and things like that, like they had discussed. So he didn't really see a problem. He wanted to know why she was tripping like that. So Dr. Chandler asked Marie to expand on, her feelings and what's going on. So Marie feels as a mother, a teen mom, a mom who had him at the age of 18, she committed to being there, unlike her own mother, which drives the force behind her parenting skills. She's going above and beyond, and she just feels there is a lack of respect and appreciation for the things that she is doing for him. I think there's some generational curses there that she's trying to break, some things that she's trying to work through from the things that she experienced in her past, her mom's drug addiction and abandoning her, and just handing off her duties as a mom. So she vowed to never do that. Dr. Chandler expanded to Jerez that him as a black man in this day and age, he should be focusing on more control. He gave some great advice to be still and be quiet and work on being a better person. Because, like he said, as a black man, you can't blow up like that. You have to read the room. You have to learn to adjust. You have to take responsibility. So it was a good conversation. It was a lot of things going on in that conversation. I think some more work would be needed to get them in a better space. So the scene went to Latrice. Latrice, they only show her for a little while. She's handling business. She mentioned the brunch that is approaching, and she stated that she would not be there. Especially if it involved Marie being there, she said she's just over with that. So she's back to business, and that was that on that. Now the last scene shot over to the brunch. We got to the brunch. Letitia's making sure everything's looking nice. Tambra is hosting. Miss Dorothy Davis, the Ferris Street liaison, arrived. So the councilman Stamps, all of the ladies are arriving in their attire and their fascinators and hats. They're ready to see what's going to happen at the brunch. Antoinette also invited her friend Kaylin, and everyone was greeting each other, getting to know each other. Antoinette went over to Marie, and yes, the shade did commence. So Marie was like, "So I get hugs today? You don't have your entourage today?" And Antoinette said, "We don't have any beef. It's not us. We don't have any beef." Some more shade was thrown, but eventually they hugged it out and went about their way. Letitia involved a affirmation activity where all of the ladies stood up with a partner and mirrored each other. I love this activity because you get to speak to another sister. You get to feel like you're looking in the mirror. You're seeing yourself inside of that woman. You never know how much we have in common with someone else. So I just love this activity. They got into the brunch. They had their waffles and chicken and shrimp and grits. So Tambra, as the host, she decided that she, wanted to create some type of segue into the conversation that is supposed to be had. So they started to discuss racism and history of that in Mississippi. They even mentioned colorism, and everyone was expanding on their experiences with racism. Tambra said she just recently had her first experience with it, and Letitia made the statement that that may be due to colorism. Some fairer skinned people may experience it a little bit less because the others. The others may, feel like they can tolerate certain standards a little bit more. But yeah, they opened up a can of worms for a great conversation. They opened up dialogue for great conversation on race and colorism, and just how hard we have to work to prove ourselves and make it to places where we are appreciated and taken seriously. Things got a little bit emotional for Kaylin. Kaylin walked out. So Antoinette, Tambra, and Letitia went out to speak with her and see what's going on. And she was like, white people don't speak about y'all like that. White people don't talk about y'all like that. We don't talk about y'all like that. So she was feeling a little bit of something. And they were explaining a few things to her. They got her to calm down and come back in. And, of course, people are going to want to know, why did you walk out? So she expanded on it and explained that, as a woman who comes from a prominent family in Jackson, Mississippi, her great-great-grandfather was Jefferson Davis, and for her to be sitting at a table with black women and supporting them, she just wants to show America that is different, is, we're changing, and it's in a better place. And, it just seems like the attention was more on her stance of white people. So Marie, she did interrupt slightly. She said, I don't mean to interrupt, but I think we should get back to the brunch and get back to Letitia's announcement, because that's what we came here for. I guess Kaylin didn't like that either, so she went ahead and said Marie just likes to be in control, and Essie has to make it known that, Marie is somebody because Marie is nobody. She called her a nobody. Everyone was getting heated. Miss Davis, the elder in the room, was trying to calm things down. They were over talking her. It just got out of hand. And Marie was like, it's time for her to go. And Kaylin said, no, it's not. She said, somebody need to get her out of here. And Kaylin said, well, come here. Come here. Come here. She said, come here 3 times. Whoa. All right. So we're just going to back it up just a little bit from when Kaylin walked out. Now, Antoinette tried to explain to her that it was nothing personal to her. Even Letitia came out to explain that it's nothing personal to her and her character. The things that they were saying in this brunch, they were saying that there are some white people who still choose to treat them differently, who still choose to be rude and racist. So speaking on their experiences is not wrong. Speaking on their feelings is not wrong. So she shouldn't have been so emotional. Instead, she should have taken in that information, understand from our perspective. If you're friends with someone and you listen to the things that she says, why is it a problem to hear other women feeling the exact same way? Are you feeling convicted? Are you feeling guilty? Have you exhibited some of this type of behavior before? So I know people, I have white friends myself, and they know how to empathize and know that they are different. So what's the issue here? I don't know. It seemed like some true colors did come out, especially with this second issue with Marie. Now, Marie could have let her finish her statement, since she was explaining the reason why she walked out and decided to come back in. Now, her statement could have been finished, but at the same time, it's taking the attention away from the reason that the brunch was presented to everyone. Yeah, we got off onto the racism. It is a huge issue. That could be a panel for a different time. So I saw nothing wrong with Marie saying, let's table the conversation and get back to the mission of the brunch. Yes, Kaylin could have finished her statement and they could have moved on to Letitia presenting her idea. What comes into play next is calling somebody a no one, a nobody. That was wrong. Marie, you were wrong for not letting her finish her statement. Kaylin, you were wrong for feeling the need to confront somebody when this was not your battle. That was not your battle. Latrice's issue with Marie was Latrice's issue with Marie. And so, as Antoinette said, she had no beef with Marie. So I feel like you were in a place where you were speaking based on the things that you had heard. And if you don't know anything about these women, as I said before, if you guys don't know these women, why is there so much animosity on this first meeting? But that's neither here nor there. We're not going to stay on that too long. But the fact that you said, come here as if she was yours. Come here as if you owned her. And you see the topic that you guys were talking about. Like, it's the respect factor for me. There was an elderly woman there, Miss Dorothy Davis. She was an elderly woman there, and you guys proceeded to go back and forth like this. And then you still took the shine off of Letitia's announcement. And to call it unimportant, saying that we're speaking on something important, as if the reason that she called you guys to the brunch was not, you haven't heard it yet, so you don't know how important it is. I don't know. I think everybody needs to sit down, cool down, be mindful of who you bring to functions if you know how they're going to react. So maybe it may be better to discuss this one-on-one with the ladies. I don't know about trying another brunch, but yeah, this was my little 2 cents on episode 4. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you thought about this. Let me know what you would suggest differently. Like, I saw no problem with trying to table a conversation, a deep conversation, because it could use its own platform. It can use many conversations on racism, colorism, white allies. We can use many conversations on this. That's the only way we're going to change. But at the same time, be mindful of the functions that you are at. You don't know what was about to be presented. That was my whole thing. I was excited to hear about the Ferris Street project, and still we didn't get there. It's to be continued. See you guys next episode. It's your girl Kaylee, and I am signing out. Remember, squad, I love you, and tell me how you bossing.